Hi there, F-holes. As we approach Cinco de Mayo and summertime in general, I'm really reflecting a lot on my school year, and I bet you are too. So let's talk a little bit about music in our schools. All right, so get ready to get schooled on this week's advice for F-holes. I hope you're enjoying a margarita as much as I am. Got to have the salt around the rim. Oh, it's a beautiful day outside, so it's nice to kind of remember what those warm weather drinks are going to be. So good. All right, so buckle up because I want to talk to you about music education. I love music in our schools. I love teaching students. I love the fact that music was such a huge part of my life growing up. Like, tremendous. What it did for me as a human being, what it did for me as a student is just mind-boggling. So this might end up being a little bit of a stream of consciousness, so please stick with me. I'm having a hard time kind of putting my thoughts into a construct because I'm so emotional about this. Music education is kind of like the black sheep in education many times. One of the things that I'm really disturbed about lately is the fact that our students' needs are so much higher than they ever been in all of my years of teaching. Their needs academically, emotionally, it's out of control. And literally, there are many students that are out of control, many schools that are out of control, and we're trying to wrangle it back in and get everybody back to settled in and knowing how to learn and respecting learning, all of that stuff. At the same token, we're standing here as music teachers going, what the hell? We do this. We do all this stuff already. And nobody's seeing that we just need to flood these kids with a lot of what we've already been doing all along. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. The new initiatives that are not so new because everything seems to be recycled, but the new initiatives that are out there are for good reason. SEL, social emotional learning, that's very important. That's huge because how are you going to work within a construct anywhere if you're emotionally not equipped to do it, if you are socially not equipped to do it? The problem is that we are not recognizing the fact that, hello, our classroom is teeming with opportunities for that. This is where the students learn how to hold themselves to a really high standard, to persevere when they're getting it wrong. Their participation in that orchestra is a place where they can't only be thinking about themselves. They need to be thinking about how they play a part in the group. Nobody's sitting on a sideline. Nobody can just, pretend to be listening. You're participating. And if you mess up, people around you mess up. Or if you make something really beautiful and other people do, you share that together. So you are on this path to create something beautiful or exciting or sad, whatever the music is calling for, but you are taking that as a group, socially. You are putting a lot of your heart and soul into it. It's not just about the fingers on the string. Cheers to that. It's about the piece and being passionate about it and wanting to play it with your friends and having your favorite one and being excited to hear the cellos play that one part. It is a level of teamwork that is just second to none. And at the same time, we've had to beg, claw, scrape to get our students back, to get our classes back up and running, to be seen as a teacher. I don't even know if we're back to that yet. Many teachers that I know, and myself included, came back from the pandemic to be basically babysitters while the classroom, core teachers had a chance to have planning time or lunch. It was insulting and it destroyed my program. And by that, I mean there are a lot of students that would have stuck with playing an instrument and would have enjoyed that and would have benefited greatly from it that I just wasn't there for. And yet, here we are complaining about the impact that all of that had on these children when we were fiercely in those moments saying, hey, we're here, we've got you. But nobody seems to listen. Everybody's like, okay, well, let's take this nice little thing that's in a package and we can give them a vocabulary word this week and they can watch a couple of little videos about that and then they can write a thank you note to someone. It's so important, yet so contrived in so many of these ways. Instead of saying, hey, where is this happening? How can we expand on that? How can we take these teachers who already are, top notch at working with students together in teams, at helping students overcome obstacles, that they're doing it on a daily basis. Music education is more than just banging on a drum or plucking a string. It's so much more. I challenge you to look up the way music wires our brain and forms neural pathways that wouldn't be there otherwise. The fact that when you are playing music, you are using just about all of the parts of your brain. That's not happening in every classroom. And that's what we want, isn't it? Isn't that what we want? We want these kids to be activated in their brains. We want them to have dopamine hits from things that are healthy instead of this. Okay? The fact that music activates the pleasure center in your brain means that, school's going to be in a positive environment. And we're trying to build positive and healthy relationships with students. Okay, so let's cut to the chase. What do we want? Why are those kids in that building with us? What are we supposed to impart on them and why? Okay, this is our culture. This is our future. This is, the workers of America in the future. It's the people that are going to lead us. It's the people that are going to do the day-to-day. It's the people that are going to raise families down the line. Why are they in a school? They're in a school to learn, right? Learn how to function within a society. Check. They do that in my room. Okay. They learn, I know. We want them to be capable of learning. So we want them to feel welcome and warm and understood and heard. Check. So building that classroom climate is something that we are getting talked about all the time lately as if it's brand new. What else do we want them to do? Well, we want their brains to function really well. We want them to learn how to focus. Check. Okay? You don't get 75 kids up on a stage performing together in the same moment at the same time to the best of their ability without focus. They're doing that there. It's hard, but they're doing that. Okay? And because music requires it. It's required. It's a part of what you have to do to get the job done. What else do we want? We want our kids to get off these things because it's so detrimental to their mental health and they're so addictive. Absolutely. God, I can't agree more. But where should we put them instead? Okay, well, you know what gives a dopamine hit over and over again that's much healthier than a phone? Making music does. Yes, it does that. Okay, we also, we want students to use their brain and synthesize information. Well, if you're not wired with your brain to synthesize information coming from two different sources and put it together, it's going to be hard for you to do that. Just like it's going to be hard for you to walk if you're a 2-month-old baby. It's really not going to happen. Later it'll happen. So how do we get kids ready to learn in a way that's going to be much deeper and much more relevant, and where you're taking information from many places and consolidating it and getting it really anchored? Oh, that's funny. Music develops those neural pathways. Isn't that great? It's one of the few places where the two sides of the brain are developing neural pathways. So when they're in our room, the brain development is phenomenal. It's exponential compared to many other places where they're experiencing life. So if that's something we want for our students. So the fact that the music education in this country already is doing so much to promote brain activity in these children, to promote social emotional learning, to reinforce everything they learn in math and science and social studies, in English. I mean, think about it. You come in that room, you're seeing all of those subjects being reinforced on the daily. So the fact that we are not seen as integral and as something that's going to save our education system is astounding to me. It's just astounding. And if you need proof, I think I'm living proof. Okay, I started playing violin in 3rd grade. I loved music in school even before that, from kindergarten on up. But one of the things that it brought me that I think is important to many other students is that intellectual challenge. So we talk a lot about, what the kids need, and the kids that are already getting it, and the kids that are gifted and not being challenged. It's always something new and always something difficult on that instrument. And there are students that need that. And there are students that maybe already have challenges with learning that come in there and go, okay, maybe I struggle a lot with math, but I come in here and it's something I can be really smart about. We ignore the fact that those kids need those places for success. And what they are doing in our room is being successful where maybe they're not in any other room in that building. Thank you for listening to Advice for F-Holes. Please subscribe and share your comments below so we can have a great conversation.